My mother humiliated me at my brother's housewarming party, calling me a renter who would rot while she bragged about being a real homeowner. What she didn't know was that my 8-year-old son was about to expose the truth about who was really living a lie. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah, and this story happened just last weekend, but honestly, it feels like it changed everything about how I see my family dynamics. Before I dive into what went down at that party, let me paint you a picture of the key players in this drama because trust me, you're going to need to know who's who to understand just how satisfying this revenge really was. First, there's my mother, Linda. She's 58, divorced from my dad about 6 years ago, and let me tell you, she has never gotten over the fact that she had to downsize her lifestyle. Linda is the type of person who measures success by square footage and property values. She moved into a decent 2-bedroom condo after the divorce, but she acts like she's living in a mansion. Everything with her is about appearances and making sure everyone knows she's doing well. She has this way of making comments that sound supportive on the surface, but are actually designed to make you feel small. You know the type. Then there's my brother Marcus. He's 35, 3 years older than me. And honestly, he's always been the golden child. Not in a malicious way, Marcus is actually a really good guy. But he's always been the one who did everything right according to our mother. He married his college sweetheart Jessica, got a stable job in accounting, saved money responsibly, and just bought his first house in a nice suburban neighborhood. Marcus has always been supportive of me, especially after my messy divorce. But sometimes I think he doesn't realize how differently Mom treats us. My cousin Emma is 29, and she's like the family Switzerland. Her mom is Linda's younger sister, so she's witnessed all the family drama over the years. Emma has this way of seeing through everyone's nonsense, and she's never been afraid to call it like it is. But she usually tries to keep the peace. She works as a nurse and has this no-nonsense attitude that I've always admired. Emma and I have gotten closer over the years, especially since she's one of the few family members who really understood what I went through during my divorce. And then there's my son Tyler, who just turned 8 last month. This kid is my whole world, but he's also completely innocent when it comes to adult drama and family politics. Tyler has this way of saying exactly what's on his mind with zero filter, which is usually adorable but can also be problematic in situations where adults are trying to keep secrets. He's curious about everything, asks a million questions, and has this infectious enthusiasm that can light up any room. Tyler adores his Uncle Marcus and was so excited about seeing the new house. As for me, I'm 32, work as a marketing coordinator for a mid-sized company, and I've been a single mom for the past 4 years. My divorce was brutal. Not just emotionally, but financially. My ex-husband left me with damaged credit and a mountain of debt that I've been climbing out of ever since. For the past few years, Tyler and I have been renting a small 2-bedroom apartment while I rebuilt my credit score, paid off old debts, and slowly saved money. It's been a long, hard journey, and honestly, there were times when I wondered if I'd ever be able to buy a home. The thing is, I've been incredibly private about my financial recovery. After everything I went through with the divorce, I became very guarded about sharing personal information, especially anything related to money or major life decisions. I learned the hard way that some family members, particularly my mother, have a way of using your vulnerabilities against you later. So when I started seriously house hunting 6 months ago, I kept it completely to myself. What makes this story so incredible is the timing. That morning, just hours before Marcus's housewarming party, I had signed the final papers on a beautiful 3-bedroom house in a great school district. I was planning to surprise everyone at the party with my news, thinking it would be the perfect moment to share my good fortune while we were all celebrating home ownership together. I had no idea that my mother was about to turn what should have been a joyful family gathering into a public humiliation that would backfire in the most spectacular way possible. Tyler and I pulled into Marcus's driveway at exactly 3 o'clock, right on time for the housewarming party. I had to admit, seeing my brother's new house for the first time gave me genuine chills of excitement. It was a beautiful 2-story colonial with cream-colored siding, black shutters, and a wraparound porch that screamed, "American Dream." The front yard was perfectly manicured, complete with those expensive-looking foundation plantings that said, "We hired a landscaper." I felt so proud of Marcus and Jessica for achieving this milestone. "Mom, this house is huge." Tyler exclaimed, practically bouncing in his booster seat. Can we live in a house like this someday? I smiled, thinking about the keys sitting in my purse. Maybe sooner than you think, buddy, I said, giving him a meaningful look that went completely over his 8-year-old head. Walking up to the front door, I felt this weird mix of emotions. On one hand, I was genuinely thrilled for my brother. Marcus had worked so hard for this moment, and he deserved every bit of happiness. On the other hand, I was practically vibrating with my own secret excitement. The house I just bought that morning was actually bigger than Marcus's place. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, with a finished basement and a huge backyard that Tyler was going to love. Jessica answered the door with the biggest smile I'd seen in months. Sarah! Tyler! Come in, come in. We're so excited to show you everything. She looked radiant in her new role as homeowner, and I could tell she was bursting with pride. The entryway was gorgeous. Real hardwood floors, a curved staircase, and this stunning chandelier that definitely wasn't from a big box store. Jessica, this place is incredible, I said, and I meant every word. You guys have done such an amazing job with the decorating. The living room flowed seamlessly into the dining area, and I could see the kitchen beyond with its granite countertops and stainless steel appliances. Everything looked like it came straight out of a home improvement magazine. Tyler immediately ran off to find his cousins, leaving me to mingle with the adults who had already arrived. My Uncle Robert was there with his wife Carol, along with Emma and a few of Marcus's work friends. The atmosphere was exactly what a housewarming party should be. Warm, celebratory, and full of genuine happiness for the new homeowners. Sarah, you made it! Marcus appeared with a beer in hand, looking more relaxed and content than I'd seen him in years. Come on, let me give you the full tour. I want to show you the master suite. Wait until you see the walk-in closet Jessica insisted on. His enthusiasm was infectious, and I found myself getting caught up in his joy. As we walked through each room, I kept thinking about how I'd be giving Tyler his own house tour in just a few days. My new place had this amazing bonus room over the garage that would be perfect for Tyler's train set, and the backyard had this huge oak tree that was practically begging for a swing. I'd been planning this surprise for weeks, imagining everyone's faces when I finally shared my news. The property taxes aren't too bad either, Marcus was saying as we looked out the kitchen window at their deck. Jessica's already planning a vegetable garden for next spring. It feels so good to finally be building equity instead of just paying rent, you know. I nodded, completely understanding that feeling. After years of watching rent money disappear into my landlord's pocket, I was beyond ready to start building my own wealth. The mortgage payments on my new house would actually be less than what I'd been paying in rent, which still felt surreal. Emma found me in the kitchen a few minutes later. This place is gorgeous, isn't it? She said, admiring the subway tile backsplash. Marcus seems so happy, and Tyler looks like he's having a blast with the other kids. It really is beautiful, I agreed, watching Tyler through the sliding glass door as he played in the backyard with his cousins. I'm just so proud of Marcus for making this happen. It takes a lot of hard work and sacrifice to buy your first home. Little did I know that within the next hour, the entire tone of this celebration would shift dramatically, and my own secret would become the centerpiece of a family drama I never saw coming. Everything changed the moment my mother walked through Marcus's front door. I should have seen it coming. Linda has this talent for making any gathering about her, but I was so caught up in the celebratory mood that I let my guard down. She arrived 45 minutes late, which was typical Linda behavior. She likes to make an entrance, and today was no exception. She swept into the living room wearing her designer blazer, the one she bought during the divorce settlement shopping spree, carrying an expensive bottle of champagne and air-kissing everyone like she was attending a charity gala instead of her son's housewarming party. Marcus, darling, this place is absolutely stunning, she gushed, immediately taking control of the conversation. I am so proud of you for making such smart financial decisions. This is what real success looks like. Building equity, investing in your future, creating generational wealth. I watched from across the room as she launched into what I privately called her property value lecture. Linda had become obsessed with real estate ever since buying her condo, constantly checking Zillow estimates and bragging about her investment portfolio to anyone who would listen. The irony, of course, was that her condo purchase had been funded entirely by her divorce settlement and the ongoing alimony payments from my dad. "Let me get the grand tour," she announced, linking her arm through Marcus's. "I want to see every inch of this beautiful investment." For the next 20 minutes, Linda's voice carried throughout the house as she offered unsolicited advice about window treatments, paint colors, and landscaping choices. I tried to stay focused on my conversation with Carol about Tyler's upcoming soccer season, but Linda's commentary was impossible to ignore. "You'll want to replace that carpet in the master bedroom," she was saying as they came back downstairs. "Hardwood adds so much more value. Trust me, I've learned a lot about smart home ownership decisions over the past few years." That's when Jessica innocently made the comment that set everything in motion. "Sarah, you and Tyler should definitely think about buying in this neighborhood someday. The schools are amazing and the property values just keep going up." The room went quiet for a beat, and I felt that familiar knot forming in my stomach. I could practically see the wheels turning in Linda's head as she processed this opening. "Oh well," I said casually, trying to deflect. "Renting works great for us right now. It gives us flexibility, and I don't have to worry about maintenance or property taxes." That was apparently all the ammunition Linda needed. Her voice rose above the party chatter, cutting through every conversation in the room. "Well, some of us actually buy homes and build equity for our children's futures. Others just rent and rot, throwing money away every month with nothing to show for it." The words hit me like a physical blow. Every person in that living room, Marcus's co-workers, our relatives, family friends, suddenly went silent. I felt my cheeks burning with humiliation as 20 pairs of eyes either stared at me directly or pointedly looked away in embarrassment. "Linda," Marcus started, his voice carrying a warning tone, but she was just getting started. I understand that not everyone has the financial discipline or credit score to qualify for a mortgage," she continued, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "But at some point, you have to think about stability and setting a good example for your children about responsible adult decisions." I stood there frozen, my hands literally shaking with a combination of rage and mortification. This was my brother's celebration, his moment of joy, and my mother had just turned it into a public shaming session with me as the target. Tyler was still playing outside, thankfully oblivious to what was happening inside. That's when Emma appeared beside me, her nurse instincts kicking in as she saw my distress. She moved closer and whispered urgently in my ear, her voice barely audible above the awkward silence that had fallen over the room. "Don't let her get to you, Sarah. She's still living off your dad's child support payments and acting like she earned that condo herself. Everyone here knows the truth about her financial situation." Emma's words should have been comforting, but they only made my anger burn hotter. The hypocrisy was staggering. My mother was lecturing me about financial responsibility while her lifestyle was entirely funded by alimony checks. But I couldn't say that. I couldn't destroy Marcus's party by starting a family war, no matter how much Linda deserved to be called out for her cruelty. So I stood there, swallowing my pride and my fury, while my mother continued her performance for an audience that was growing more uncomfortable by the second. I excused myself from the living room as quickly as possible, mumbling something about needing to use the restroom. My legs felt shaky as I walked down Marcus's hallway, past the family photos and motivational artwork that Jessica had so carefully arranged. The guest bathroom was mercifully empty, and I locked the door behind me, finally allowing myself a moment to breathe. Looking at my reflection in the mirror, I could see the humiliation written all over my face. My cheeks were still flushed red, and my hands were trembling slightly from the adrenaline surge. I gripped the marble countertop and took several deep breaths, trying to calm down before I had to face everyone again. The worst part wasn't even Linda's public attack, it was the timing. Those house keys were literally sitting in my purse, along with the signed purchase agreement and my copy of the closing documents. I had been so excited to share my news, planning to wait until after dinner, when everyone was relaxed and happy. I'd imagined Marcus's proud smile, Tyler's excitement about having his own room, and yes, even Linda's shocked expression when she realized her financially irresponsible daughter had just bought a house that was bigger than her precious condo. Now that moment felt completely ruined. How could I make my announcement after what had just happened? It would look like I was only revealing my secret to get back at Linda, turning Marcus's celebration into a family drama. That wasn't fair to him or Jessica, who had worked so hard to create this perfect day. I splashed some cold water on my wrists, a trick Emma had taught me years ago for managing anxiety. Through the bathroom window, I could see Tyler still playing happily in the backyard with his cousins, completely oblivious to the adult drama unfolding inside. That kid was going to be so excited when he found out about our new house, especially the finished basement that would be perfect for his gaming setup. A soft knock on the door interrupted my thoughts. "Sarah, it's me," Emma's voice came through quietly. "You okay in there?" I opened the door to find Emma standing in the hallway, her expression a mixture of concern and barely controlled anger. "I cannot believe she did that to you," Emma whispered fiercely, "in front of everyone at Marcus's party. That was beyond inappropriate." "I just need a minute," I said, stepping back to let her into the bathroom. "I don't want to ruin Marcus's day by making this into a bigger thing." Emma closed the door behind her and leaned against it. "Sarah, you're not the one making this into anything. Linda is completely out of line, and honestly, someone needs to call her out on it. The way she's been acting lately, throwing around financial advice like she's some kind of real estate mogul when everyone knows she's living off alimony money." "I know," I said, running my fingers through my hair. "But what am I supposed to do? Start a screaming match in the middle of Marcus's housewarming? Tell everyone about Dad's support payments? That's not who I want to be." "So you're just going to let her get away with humiliating you like that?" I looked at Emma's reflection in the mirror, seeing my own frustration mirrored in her eyes. "I'm going to go back out there, smile, and celebrate my brother's new house. That's what today is supposed to be about." "What about your news?" Emma asked quietly. "I know you, Sarah. You've been planning something, haven't you? You've had this secret smile all day, and when Jessica mentioned buying in the neighborhood, you got this look." I hesitated for a moment, then pulled my purse closer and showed Emma the keyring with 2 shiny new house keys. Her eyes widened as I whispered, "I closed on a 3-bedroom house this morning. I was going to surprise everyone after dinner." Emma's mouth fell open. "Are you serious right now? Sarah, that's incredible. You have to tell them." "How can I now? After what just happened, it'll look like I'm only saying it to show up Linda. That's not how I want Marcus to find out his sister bought a house." Emma grabbed my shoulders gently. "Listen to me. Your mother just publicly humiliated you based on completely false assumptions. You have every right to set the record straight. Besides, this is amazing news that everyone should be celebrating with you. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. Not yet. I needed time to figure out how to handle this situation without turning Marcus's special day into a battlefield. So I made the decision to go back out there, endure whatever else Linda might say, and protect my brother's celebration even if it meant swallowing my pride. Little did I know that Tyler was about to make that decision for me in the most perfectly innocent and devastating way possible. I had been back in the living room for about 15 minutes, nursing a glass of wine and trying to blend into the background while Linda continued her performance. She had somehow managed to steer every conversation back to real estate values, mortgage rates, and the wisdom of building equity. I watched Marcus's face growing more uncomfortable with each passing comment, but he was too polite to shut down his own mother at his housewarming party. "The key is financial discipline," Linda was saying to a captive audience of Marcus's co-workers. "Too many people in this generation want instant gratification instead of making the sacrifices necessary for real wealth building. It's about priorities and setting a good example for your children." I felt my jaw clench as she shot a meaningful glance in my direction. Emma, who had positioned herself strategically nearby, caught my eye and shook her head in disgust. Even Carol and Uncle Robert looked visibly uncomfortable with Linda's ongoing commentary. That's when Tyler came bounding through the sliding glass door, his cheeks flushed from playing outside and his hair slightly messy from running around with his cousins. He had grass stains on his jeans and that happy, exhausted look that kids get when they've been having the time of their lives. "Mom," he called out, weaving through the adults to find me. "Can I have some more juice? And when are we eating cake?" In a little bit, buddy, I said, smoothing down his hair. Are you having fun with your cousins? Yeah, Uncle Marcus has the coolest backyard. It's almost as big as. Tyler stopped mid-sentence, his eyes suddenly lighting up with excitement as he seemed to remember something important. Oh no, I could see it happening in slow motion. Tyler had this expression he got when he suddenly remembered a secret he'd been trying to keep, and I knew exactly what was about to come out of his mouth. Tyler, I started, trying to catch his attention before he could continue, but it was too late. He walked directly to the center of the living room, right into the middle of Linda's ongoing lecture about financial responsibility. Every adult in the room turned to look at this adorable 8-year-old who had suddenly commanded their attention. Sorry we're late, everyone, Tyler announced in his clear, carrying voice that could probably be heard in the next county. Mom was just signing the papers for her house. The room went completely, utterly silent. It was like someone had pressed a mute button on the entire party. Linda's mouth literally fell open mid-sentence, her wine glass frozen halfway to her lips. Marcus's eyes went wide as he stared at me in shock. Jessica's hand flew to her mouth. Even the background music seemed to fade away. Tyler, completely oblivious to the bombshell he'd just dropped, continued with his innocent 8-year-old enthusiasm. She said it was a surprise, but I saw all the boxes in our apartment this morning. We're moving next week. He turned to me with bright eyes. Mom, can I tell them about my new bedroom and the basement where I can put my train set? 20 pairs of eyes swiveled from Tyler to me, and I felt like I was standing under a spotlight on a stage. Linda's face had gone from flushed with wine to completely pale, the color draining out of her cheeks as the implications of Tyler's announcement sank in. Marcus was the first to break the silence, his voice filled with disbelief and growing excitement. Sarah? Are you serious right now? You bought a house? I looked around the room at all the expectant faces, at Linda's horrified expression, at Emma's barely contained grin, and realized there was no going back now. Tyler had made the decision for me in the most perfectly innocent way possible. Yes, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. I closed on a 3-bedroom house this morning. The room exploded. Marcus let out a whoop of joy and rushed over to hug me. Jessica started asking a million questions at once. Uncle Robert raised his beer in a toast. Carol started clapping. Emma was grinning so wide I thought her face might split in half. And Linda? Linda stood frozen in the corner, her earlier words about, "Some of us actually buy homes while others just rent and rot," hanging in the air like toxic smoke. The woman who had spent the last hour lecturing everyone about financial responsibility and setting good examples had just been completely, utterly, and publicly proven wrong by an 8-year-old boy who couldn't keep a secret. The irony was so perfect it felt scripted. The next few minutes were pure chaos in the best possible way. Marcus lifted me off my feet in the biggest bear hug I'd gotten since we were kids, spinning me around while everyone laughed and cheered. Sarah, I can't believe you kept this secret. I'm so incredibly proud of you. His genuine joy was infectious, and I felt tears of happiness welling up in my eyes. Jessica was practically bouncing with excitement, firing questions at me rapid fire. Where is it? How many bedrooms? When do you move in? Oh my gosh, we're going to be homeowner sisters. Tyler basked in all the attention, clearly thrilled that his big reveal had made everyone so happy, even though he didn't fully understand the magnitude of what had just happened. It's a 3-bedroom colonial about 10 minutes from here, I explained, pulling out my phone to show everyone the photos I'd taken that morning. 2.5 baths, finished basement, huge backyard, with this incredible oak tree that Tyler's already planning to put a swing on. Uncle Robert whistled appreciatively as he looked at the pictures. That's a beautiful place, Sarah. You've done really well for yourself. Carol nodded enthusiastically, adding, and in this market, too. You must have worked so hard to make this happen. Emma appeared at my side, no longer trying to hide her massive grin. I knew you were up to something. You've had this secretive energy all day. I'm so happy for you. She squeezed my hand, and I could see the pride and vindication in her eyes. But it was Marcus's reaction that meant the most to me. He pulled me aside slightly, his voice quieter but filled with emotion. Sarah, after everything you went through with the divorce, all the financial stress you've been dealing with, Seeing you bounce back like this and achieve something this huge, I'm in awe of you, sis. Seriously. Meanwhile, Linda had retreated to the far corner of the living room, suddenly very interested in examining Jessica's bookshelf. Her earlier confidence had completely evaporated, replaced by a tight-lipped silence that spoke volumes. She couldn't exactly continue her lecture about financial responsibility and building equity when I had just proven that I was doing exactly that, and doing it better than she had realized. "Mom," Tyler tugged on my sleeve, "can I tell everyone about the room over the garage and how there's a window seat where I can read?" His enthusiasm was absolutely contagious, and soon he was describing every detail of our new house to anyone who would listen. As the initial excitement started to settle, Marcus raised his beer and called for everyone's attention. "I think this calls for a toast. To homeownership, to family, and to my incredible sister who apparently likes to keep us all in suspense." Everyone raised their glasses, and I felt this overwhelming wave of gratitude wash over me. This was how I had always imagined sharing my news, surrounded by people who genuinely cared about my success and wanted to celebrate with me. Later, as the party started winding down and people began saying their goodbyes, Linda finally approached me. I braced myself for whatever passive-aggressive comment she might make, but she surprised me. "Congratulations on the house," she said stiffly, not quite meeting my eyes. "I'm sure you'll be very happy there." It wasn't an apology, but it was the closest thing to admitting she'd been wrong that I was likely to get from Linda. "Thank you," I replied simply, not feeling the need to twist the knife any further. As Tyler and I were getting ready to leave, he looked up at me with those big, innocent eyes. "Mom, why was Grandma so quiet after I told everyone about our house? Did I say something wrong?" I knelt down to his level, smoothing his hair back from his forehead. "No, honey, you didn't say anything wrong. Sometimes adults make assumptions about things they don't know about, and when they find out they were wrong, it makes them feel embarrassed." "Oh," Tyler said, considering this. "Well, I'm glad I told everyone. They were all so excited for us." Driving home that evening, I reflected on what had happened. Linda's cruel words had stung, but Tyler's innocent announcement had turned what could have been a devastating humiliation into a moment of triumph. Sometimes the best revenge isn't planned at all. It's simply living your truth and letting your actions speak louder than anyone else's assumptions. The real lesson wasn't about getting back at my mother. It was about the power of perseverance, the importance of not letting other people's judgments define your worth, and the beautiful unpredictability of an 8-year-old who can't keep a secret. You know what I learned from this whole experience? Sometimes, life has the most perfect timing, even when we think everything is going wrong. I spent months keeping my house hunting journey private because I was scared of judgment, scared of failure, scared of not living up to everyone's expectations. But Tyler's innocent announcement taught me that our victories are meant to be shared, not hidden away out of fear. My mother's words stung that day, and honestly, they still sting a little when I think about them. But what I realized is that people who try to tear you down are usually struggling with their own insecurities. Linda's need to make me feel small said more about her than it ever did about me. And you know what? I genuinely feel sorry for her now. Living your life trying to diminish other people's joy must be exhausting. The best part of this story isn't even the dramatic reveal or the look on Linda's face, though that was pretty satisfying, I won't lie. The best part is watching Tyler run around our new house every morning, planning where to put his furniture and talking about hosting his first sleepover. The best part is having keys to a place that's truly ours, where we can paint the walls any color we want and plant flowers in our own backyard. And Marcus? He's been the most supportive brother I could ask for. He helped us move last weekend, and Jessica has already started planning joint barbecues in our connected backyards. Family drama aside, having my brother so close by feels like a dream come true. As for Linda, well, she's been notably quiet at family gatherings lately. Emma says she's probably learned her lesson about making assumptions, but I'm not holding my breath. Some people never change, and that's okay. I've learned that I can't control other people's behavior, but I can control how I respond to it. To anyone out there who's working toward a big goal in secret, afraid to tell anyone because you're worried about judgment or failure, I see you. Keep going. Your hard work matters, your dreams are valid, and sometimes the most beautiful moments come from the most unexpected places. Like an 8-year-old who can't keep a secret and accidentally gives you the perfect comeback to years of criticism. Trust me, it's worth the wait. If you enjoyed this story of family drama and unexpected justice, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I love sharing these real life moments because I think we all need reminders that sometimes things work out exactly as they should. Drop a comment below and tell me about a time when life surprised you with perfect timing. I read every single one and I love hearing your stories. And if you want to hear more tales of family dynamics, workplace drama, and life's unexpected plot twists, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, I've got plenty more stories where this came from. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.